Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Some of you may have spotted the big Scarlet Witch Easter eggs hidden in the Loki Episode 1 post-credit scene, and it looks like it's just the start of Marvel teasing her return before Avengers 5 Kang Dynasty. They already confirmed they're bringing her back, but now we finally started to see more evidence inside actual Marvel episodes.
What future storyline for Wanda do you want?
Well, honestly, if I were to tell you exactly what I would want, I think I would maybe be spoiling something because Kevin Feige genuinely asks us what we want to do with the character, and then he does it. So I think I don't know if I can share, but I just want to come back.
It's one thing for Elizabeth Olsen and Marvel to say that she's coming back after a little break and asking Kevin Feige to do more X-Men stuff, but it hits a totally different level when you actually start seeing Easter eggs for her in other Marvel projects. So we'll break it all down. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the episodes. We're doing a giveaway for Loki Blu-rays. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and let me know which other series you want to see Loki Season 2 cross over with. We know it's crossing over with Deadpool 3, like it directly sets that movie up. It's setting up what's happening in Avengers Kang Dynasty, Secret Wars. So there's already a lot of stuff that it's meant to be connected to and help set up. But you may have seen a lot of people thought that Elizabeth Olsen had been fired by Marvel because she was taking a break. I did a funny video about it a while ago. Like, why would Marvel ever fire Elizabeth Olsen? That would be like the dumbest thing they could possibly do. As you can see, she wants to come back. Like, there's a bunch of ideas that she has, mostly X-Men related stuff, but she also wants to take a short break from only doing Marvel stuff. So there was never a question about her eventually coming back.
Whispering the words.
But at least up until this recent episode of Loki, it had been all talk, no action. Then during Loki Season 2 Episode 1, if you pause and went through that new end credit scene with hundreds of details, there's literally hundreds and hundreds of Easter eggs here, but the sticky notes are full of Easter eggs for a ton of completely different things. You might have spotted the big Scarlet Witch Easter eggs. It's sort of like finding a needle in a haystack of all these many, many Easter eggs. So fast forward to the credits, zoom in and enhance. There are a couple of these during different parts of the credits, but the first one here talks about Scarlet Witch's chaos magic. It says Hex Moment with an arrow next to it. The rest of the note is questioning the truth behind the monster. What does it represent? Because it's questioning if this monster is connected to Scarlet Witch, that would imply that the TVA is actively monitoring Scarlet Witch across the multiverse right now, meaning that she would have to be alive using her chaos magic powers. The TVA monitors everything in every universe across the multiverse. They use Miss Minutes to process the sheer amount of data. Like, she is hypertech created by Kang. He's from the 30th century that acts like the multiverse's greatest, most sinister supercomputer.
Just watch.
Sifting through all this data coming from all these different universes, you also have the TVA itself, which is like the size of Manhattan, full of people, like that many people, all dedicated to just processing all this information from different universes. Now, the specific monster that they're referencing in this Scarlet Witch note might be Alioth still, because Episode 1 is meant to take place directly after the events of Season 1, Episode 6, so by this point, Loki's filled everyone in on Alioth, He Who Remains, the truth about the Void Planet, what really happens to everything that they prune. And you look below this too, there's also a sticky note right here below the Scarlet Witch note that references the boy betrayed in the Tower Keeper. The Tower Keeper is clearly He Who Remains. I think what's going on with this board of the hundreds of sticky notes and hundreds of Easter eggs is that it's meant to be Mobius's notes, because later when it shows all the open case files with all the pictures, the only main character not depicted in the case files is Mobius. So all these different end credit scenes, these different areas are meant to be Mobius going full Sherlock, trying to figure out what's going on at the beginning of Season 2. Like, there are a bunch of big mysteries that they introduce, but there's also a bunch of mysteries left over from the end of Season 1. There's also another post-it note above the Scarlet Witch note that says, The Secret of the Dark Mountains. That would be Mount Wundagore, where the main 616 Scarlet Witch disappeared. Now, I say disappeared because we know that she didn't die. There was a flash of chaos magic energy as Chthon's Darkhold Temple crashed down around her, but no body in the Marvel Universe equals no death. Now, the note also says Yorzen's betrayal. There's no Yorzen in Marvel Comics, but that could be a character that they created for the Loki series just for this particular mystery that he's investigating. And Mobius wondering if what Scarlet Witch did during Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness in her disappearance, her chaos magic, might have something to do with the multiverse starting to break down at the beginning of Loki Season 2. The actual timeline itself is starting to collapse. That would mean all of reality also starts to collapse, like RIP the entire multiverse. The next big Scarlet Witch Easter egg is a little bit later in the credits, so fast forward a little bit more, zoom and enhance. On top of this report about an apocalypse event is the same diagram that's on the wall of the Darkhold Temple in Doctor Strange 2. Now, there are a lot of designs and symbols in the Darkhold Temple that show up in other Marvel movies too. Most of these symbols are celestial design symbols that you see in the Eternals movie, like the design language of the Celestials just in general. That's them trying to connect everything on a cosmic level across the Marvel multiverse. Basically connecting a line between Scarlet Witch, her chaos magic, the Celestials, and everything that's happening across every universe. And that gets into Avengers 5 Kang Dynasty, Secret Wars, making Scarlet Witch a much more central figure in those next Avengers movies. Now, she was a major part of the plot in Avengers Infinity War, but not quite as much in Endgame. Like, she was a big part of Endgame, she had a couple big moments, but she was a bigger character in Infinity War. They used a lot of that plot with Vision and the Mind Stone to drive her story forward through WandaVision. And now a lot of these Loki Easter eggs, Doctor Strange 2, the Darkhold Temple, all this chaos magic, backstory, celestial cosmic stuff, is setting her up as a much more central character in the future of the MCU. The apocalypse event behind the chaos magic celestial symbol here probably has something to do with the events of Doctor Strange 2, because remember, the TVA would be monitoring everything in every universe, so they would have been watching what happened during Doctor Strange 2. The real big connection between what happened during that movie and the TVA are the incursions themselves. During Doctor Strange 2, there was that Illuminati teaser with Reed Richards, Professor X, warning Doctor Strange about incursions. They basically said everything that he and Scarlet Witch were doing, messing with the multiverse, was causing more of them, and then they tease it again at the end of the film, like, you caused another incursion.
The larger the footprint you leave behind, the greater the risk of an incursion. An incursion occurs when the boundary between two universes erodes, and they collide, destroying one or both.
An incursion is like the highest level of an apocalypse event when two universes collide with each other, destroying one or both of them. That's also what happened during the first Kang Multiverse War, with timelines going to war with each other, the different Kangs trying to erase each other's timelines. The only reason in Doctor Strange 2 that Scarlet Witch got off the hook on a lot of that, and Doctor Strange took most of the blame for the incursions, was because they thought incorrectly, that she died, which we know she did not. And also, Doctor Strange's variants, particularly Doctor Strange Supreme, the Illuminati Doctor Strange from the A38 universe, had both actively done terrible things to the multiverse for different reasons and been caught red-handed, like they did it on purpose. 616 Doctor Strange was just trying to chase down Scarlet Witch and stop her, and that's why he accidentally started causing incursions. He wasn't purposefully trying to cause incursions. Let me know if you think you spotted any other Scarlet Witch references on Loki. There was that Hex scene during Season 1 where the events of the Loki finale lined up perfectly with Scarlet Witch coming fully into her chaos magic. The Loki showrunner claimed that that was meant to be a total coincidence. They weren't trying to take the Loki finale that far, and I believe her. I don't think she was lying, but Marvel has been known to canonize fan theories after the fact, especially if they're cool fan theories. Case in point, the biggest one I can think of off the top of my head was the Spider-Man theory, going back to Iron Man. So Tom Holland was responding to a fan theory when he said this, so it predates him, but when he and Kevin Feige were doing press interviews for Spider-Man Homecoming, Tom Holland said that he thought the young boy in Iron Man 2 wearing the Iron Man mask at the Stark Expo was a young Peter Parker. And the idea is it was meant to show that he always admired Iron Man, looked up to him, and it helped explain their closer relationship in present day. Kevin Feige liked the theory so much that he said, bam, that's awesome, it's canon. He made it canon on the spot. When in reality, when they filmed that original scene in Iron Man 2 years before that, Jon Favreau had no intention of that being young Spider-Man. In fact, the kid playing that character in the scene was Jon Favreau's son in real life. So it's totally possible that Marvel can take a fan theory like this WandaVision Loki connection and turn it into a bigger thing in the future, particularly if it's a cool Easter egg. Now, as for Scarlet Witch actually coming back on screen in a big way, there were reports she was going to have some kind of cameo or be referenced in some way during the Agatha Darkhold Diary show next year. They're releasing it around this time next year. It's a show all about the Witch's Road, what happened with Agatha after WandaVision, and her son Billy coming back. That's who Joe Locke is playing, so it makes sense that they would reference Scarlet Witch in some way during that series. And unless she shows up in like a random movie post-credit scene for some upcoming movie, I believe the first time we're meant to actually see her come back is in Avengers 5 Kang Dynasty. I believe we're also supposed to see a version of Scarlet Witch during X-Men 97 Season 1 and What If Season 2. Elizabeth Olsen does the voice for What If, but the X-Men 97 characters are like literally the ones from X-Men the Animated Series. It's like Season 6 of that show. So all that stuff is taking place in another universe. I don't know if Elizabeth Olsen would voice that version of Scarlet Witch, or if it'd be like something completely different and just another version of Scarlet Witch. But all the X-Men 97 episodes are supposed to release right after the Echo series in January or February. I'll be doing videos for everything, so do not worry. There's a bunch of really big stuff coming up. My full Loki Season 2 Episode 2 video will post Friday after they release it. Be sure to enable alerts from my channel so you don't miss that. Congratulations, Jeff McNally. You're the giveaway winner from my last big Loki video. Please email me on the About page of my channel so I can get your contact details. Click here for my Loki Season 2 Episode 2 video. I'll update the link as soon as I post that. And click here for my full Loki Season 2 Episode 1 video. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.